I trusted her with everything, my secrets, my dreams, my heart. Every word she spoke was a promise, a brick in the foundation of our shared future. I believed that our love was pure, unassailable, built on honesty and the gentle care we'd nurtured together. Then, one quiet evening while I was sorting through old papers in our study, I discovered a hidden receipt for a fancy restaurant. It wasn't addressed to me or our family, it was a clue, a silent confession that revealed a covert meeting with a mystery woman. In that shattering instant, every promise we made dissolved into bitter betrayal, and the future I had so lovingly planned crumbled before my eyes. I still remember the day we met as if it were etched in my memory in brilliant, unyielding colors. It was a late spring afternoon when our paths first crossed at a mutual friend's gathering. I was drawn to her immediately, not just by her radiant smile, but by the ease with which she carried herself, as if life were a joyful secret waiting to be shared. Our conversation flowed effortlessly from the start. We talked about our favorite books, our passions, and the little dreams that made us who we were. I was completely enchanted by her genuine warmth and the way she listened with her whole heart. In those early moments, I believed I had found a soulmate, a person with whom I could trust my deepest secrets and share the promise of an everlasting bond. As the years passed, our connection deepened. We moved in together and built a life filled with quiet routines and whispered plans for the future. We spent lazy weekends cooking meals side by side, decorating our modest home with treasures from our travels, and dreaming about a life that would be our own. I trusted her implicitly. I shared every part of me, my hopes, my fears, my most private thoughts, confident that our relationship was built on honesty and mutual respect. I admired her for her kindness, her intellect, and the way she made every day feel like a promise of a better tomorrow. I never imagined that beneath the surface of our seemingly perfect life, a secret was festering, a secret that would one day shatter the fragile trust one had placed in her. It all began with small hints that I had foolishly brushed aside as mere coincidences. There were times when I'd notice her phone vibrate softly in the other room, and I'd catch a glimpse of a text that I didn't quite understand. I told myself that it was nothing, just a work message or a casual update from a friend. But those small moments slowly accumulated, each one a tiny crack in the facade of the life we had built together. I began to notice that she was more secretive than before. Her laughter would sometimes fade quickly when I walked in on her messaging, and she often excused herself with vague statements like, "I need a minute." I ignored the subtle signs because I trusted her with everything. I believed in our love, in the sincerity of every word she said. Then, one cool autumn evening, after a day spent planning our upcoming anniversary celebration, I decided to help tidy our study. The room was filled with the comforting clutter of shared memories, old photographs in ornate frames, boxes of letters and mementos that told the story of our life together. As I sorted through a pile of documents on a dusty shelf, my hand brushed against an envelope I didn't recall seeing before. Curious, I slid it out and opened it carefully. Inside was a single crisp receipt from Le Belle Étoile, a high-end restaurant I had never heard her mention, dated just a few days ago. My heart skipped a beat. The total was extravagant, a sum that far exceeded what we'd ever budgeted for a casual dinner or even a special occasion. The receipt was neat, stamped with the time of the transaction, and tucked between pages of documents that chronicled our daily life. At first, I was in disbelief. I wondered if perhaps it was a clerical error, a misplaced receipt from a charity event or a business dinner. But as I examined it closely, every detail told a different story. The time on the receipt was late, far beyond any reasonable dinner hour, and the amount charged spoke of a lavish meal. A cold shiver ran down my spine as I realized that while I had been planning our future together with hopeful dreams of shared celebrations and honest laughter, she had been crafting a secret life, one where she indulged in a forbidden pleasure with someone else. That night, I lay awake in our shared bedroom, the soft hum of the night mingling with the relentless thumping of my heart. I stared at the ceiling, my mind replaying the discovery over and over until the truth, undeniable and cruel, settled in. I felt as if my entire world had tilted on its axis, the memories of her tender reassurances now reinterpreted through the lens of betrayal. Every "I love you" that once filled me with hope now echoed like empty promises in the silence of my despair. I wrestled with a storm of emotions, hurt, anger, disbelief, and an overwhelming sense of loss. How could she hide something like this from me? How long had this secret been hidden, and who was the man who shared those expensive meals with her? The following days were a blur of confusion and mounting sorrow. I began to notice little details that I had once dismissed, the way she would suddenly become quiet when her phone buzzed, the soft, hurried glances she exchanged with a friend during dinner, the faint smile that lingered too long on her lips when she thought I wasn't looking. Each small sign, once so easily rationalized, now converged into a painful tapestry of deception. I felt a gnawing betrayal that slowly consumed me, turning every memory of our shared life into a painful reminder of the secret that now divided us. I knew I had to confront her. I couldn't continue to live in a world where my trust was shattered, where every plan for our future seemed built on lies. But the thought of a confrontation filled me with dread. What if she denied it all? What if my pain was dismissed as paranoia? The uncertainty gnawed at me, yet I also knew that I deserved answers. I began to meticulously document every detail of the discovery. I scanned the receipt, noting the date, the time, and the amount. I looked for any trace of correspondence related to that night, any mention of La Belle Étoile in her messages or emails. To my dismay, I discovered a series of texts that hinted at the secret meeting. A string of flirtatious exchanges and promises of a night out that didn't involve me at all. I created a folder on my computer and labeled it Truth, where I saved every screenshot and every piece of evidence that confirmed what I had feared most. Days turned into sleepless nights as I wrestled with the enormity of the betrayal. I found myself questioning every word she had spoken, each tender whisper and every promise of fidelity. I recalled the times we'd spent together, the dreams we'd shared, and I felt a deep, piercing sadness that I was now left alone with my shattered trust. The love we had built, once so robust and full of promise, now seemed to be nothing more than a mirage, a fragile illusion that had crumbled under the weight of hidden desires. In the midst of my inner turmoil, I reached out to my closest friend, a beacon of unwavering support who had seen me through many trials. We met in a quiet corner of our favorite cafe, the soft murmur of conversations and the clink of coffee cups creating a cocoon of solace. With tears in my eyes, I recounted every painful detail, the discovery of the hidden receipt, the expensive dinner at La Belle Étoile, the incriminating text that confirmed a secret night out. My friend listened intently, her eyes reflecting a mix of sorrow and determination. "You deserve the truth," she said gently, "and you deserve a love that is honest and whole. Don't let this betrayal define your future." Her words, tender yet resolute, sparked within me a flicker of strength, a determination to confront the pain head-on and reclaim my life from the ruins of deception. Armed with the evidence and bolstered by the support of those who cared for me, I resolved to confront her. I spent days preparing, rehearsing my words until my voice, though trembling with emotion, became firm and unwavering. "I trusted you with everything," I practiced in front of the mirror, "and now I see that trust was built on lies." Each repetition was a promise, a vow to myself that I would no longer allow deception to steal my future. I gathered the folder of evidence and with a heavy heart, waited for the moment when I could no longer hide from the truth. That fateful evening, as the sky darkened with the promise of rain and the house was enveloped in a heavy silence, she returned home. The door creaked open and for a brief moment I saw her face, soft, unsuspecting, a mask of calm that now struck me as profoundly deceptive. I met her in the living room, where the fading light cast long, somber shadows across the floor. "We need to talk," I said, my voice barely above a whisper yet carrying the weight of every broken promise. She looked at me, her eyes widening slightly as they flicked toward the folder resting on the coffee table. The tension in the room was palpable, a silence filled with unspoken truths and impending revelations. I opened the folder and began to speak, laying out the evidence one piece at a time. "I found this receipt," I said softly, "from La Belle Étoile, an extravagant dinner that was never meant for us." I showed her the screenshots of the texts, each one a damning piece of evidence that confirmed a night out with someone else. "I trusted you," I continued, my voice wavering with pain, "and you promised that our love was built on honesty. But these messages, these secret outings, they show a truth I can no longer ignore." Her face fell, and for a long, agonizing moment she was silent, too stunned by the evidence to speak. Finally, she murmured something about it being just a misunderstanding or an innocent mistake, but her words fell flat in the face of undeniable proof. The confrontation was a collision of raw emotion and unyielding truth. A moment when every whispered promise and every tender "I love you" I had once believed in was revealed to be nothing more than a lie. I could see the regret in her eyes, the desperation to salvage something of what we once had, but I knew that the damage was irreparable. The future we had built together was now a fragile illusion, shattered by the cold, hard evidence of her secret life. In the days that followed, I was engulfed by a deep sorrow, a mourning for the future we had planned, for the trust that had been so recklessly broken. I wandered through the empty rooms of our home, each space echoing with memories that now felt tainted by deceit. I found myself revisiting every tender moment, every shared laugh, each one now a painful reminder of a love that had been built on lies. The weight of the betrayal was almost unbearable, a constant ache that made every day a struggle to find meaning and hope. Yet, amid the overwhelming pain, a small ember of resolve began to glow within me. I realized that while the betrayal had shattered my trust, it had also awakened a strength I had never known existed. I resolved that I would not allow this deceit to define my future. I began to channel my heartbreak into healing. I reached out to a therapist whose compassionate guidance helped me navigate the storm of emotions that now consumed me. In the safe space of our sessions, I learned to confront the sorrow, to process the anger, and to slowly piece together the fragments of my identity. I wrote in my journal until every tear was etched into the pages, every sleepless night recorded as a testament to my journey from betrayal to self-discovery. Publicly, our once beautiful union had become a quiet undercurrent among our friends and family, a hushed topic of sympathy and whispered encouragement. I began to share my story on a personal blog, writing with raw, unfiltered honesty about the betrayal, the confrontation, and the slow, painful process of reclaiming my life. The responses were overwhelming. Messages from strangers and old friends alike, each note a reminder that I was not alone and that my strength was an inspiration. Every word of support bolstered my resolve, affirming that even in the face of the deepest betrayal, there was hope for a brighter future. As the months turned into a year, I slowly began to rediscover who I was before the pain. A woman with dreams, passions, and an unyielding capacity for love. I ventured back into the world of relationships cautiously, each new encounter approached with a blend of guarded optimism and the hard-won lessons of my past. Every genuine smile and every kind word helped mend the shattered pieces of my heart, slowly weaving together a tapestry of hope that promised a future defined not by deception, but by authenticity and trust. I learned that true love must be built on transparency, that every promise should be honored with truth, and that I deserved a partner who cherished my trust as much as I cherished theirs. Now, as I sit in the soft, forgiving light of my modest apartment, a space I have transformed into my sanctuary of healing, I reflect on the long, winding journey that has brought me from the depths of betrayal to a place of quiet empowerment. The memory of that hidden receipt, the secret messages, and the painful confrontation remains etched in my heart as a stark reminder of the fragility of trust. Yet, it is also a testament to the strength I discovered within myself. A strength that allowed me to face the truth, reclaim my dignity, and rebuild my future from the ruins of broken promises. Every sunrise now is a promise of new beginnings, a chance to rewrite my story, to redefine my future, and to embrace a life built on honesty, self-respect, and genuine love. I have learned that betrayal, as devastating as it can also serve as a catalyst for transformation, a painful yet powerful invitation to rediscover who we truly are beneath the layers of shattered dreams. I now move forward with an unshakable conviction that I deserve a love that is real, transparent, and nurturing. A future where trust is not a fragile illusion but a solid foundation for everything I hold dear. This is my story, a journey of shattered promises, heart-wrenching betrayal, and ultimately the triumphant reclamation of my life. I trusted her with everything, believing in every word she spoke, and built our shared dreams on the foundation of love. But when I discovered that hidden receipt, a symbol of a covert meeting that exposed her secret life, I was forced to confront a truth that shattered my world. In that devastating moment, I found the strength to gather every piece of evidence, to face the painful reality, and to reclaim my future from the ruins of deception. Every tear, every sleepless night, every heart-shattering moment has led me to this place. A place of quiet strength where I now stand as a survivor determined to live a life defined by honesty, self-respect, and the unwavering promise that I am worthy of a love that is real. Now, as I step boldly into each new day, I carry with me the lessons of the past and the hope for a future that is entirely my own. A future where every promise is honored with truth, every dream is built on a foundation of trust, and my heart is free to love without fear. Every sunrise is a fresh canvas, a chance to rewrite my story and to embrace the brilliant light of truth and self-respect. I am the architect of my own destiny, and with every new day I choose to live a life filled with genuine love, unwavering honesty, and the power to shape my own future. A future where the scars of betrayal are not marks of defeat, but emblems of my survival and strength.